So what if that thing we all talk about, psychological safety, what if it isn't actually the finish line, for a healthy workplace? What if it's just the starting block? Today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that idea, going beyond psychological safety, building brave workplaces. Uh, we've got some really fascinating insights from a source that unpacks this whole evolution. Our goal for you today, it's simple, really. Quickly grasp the difference between just feeling safe and being genuinely brave at work. You'll get why this matters more now than ever, especially, with AI changing everything. And crucially, we'll give you concrete steps to actually foster this kind of brave culture. Get ready for maybe a few aha moments that could shift how you think about what makes teams truly thrive.
Yeah, and what's really key here, I think, is that brave spaces aren't just about comfort. They're environments built on open, honest, candid communication. Yes, safe communication, definitely. But they go further. They actively reward challenge. They support taking calculated risks. And they intentionally invite what we might call constructive discomfort. With AI disrupting, well, everything, these brave spaces are becoming absolutely essential. They help teams navigate all that uncertainty, the confusion, even the anxiety that comes with such fast change. It's really a shift from just surviving change to actively thriving and innovating through it.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Before we, leap into bravery, we really need to nail down psychological safety first. What exactly is it, and why has it been so critical for so long?
Right. So psychological safety at its core is freedom from interpersonal fear. It's about creating that trust-based openness. That's what allows for truly effective communication. Amy Edmondson's work, which is foundational here, defines it as a climate where people feel safe to speak up with ideas, questions, concerns, even mistakes, all without fearing humiliation or punishment. And that freedom, it's absolutely critical for transparency, for trust, and ultimately for innovation. We've seen it time and again.
Freedom from interpersonal consequences.
Okay.
That seems fundamental. So if it's that critical, why are we now saying it's, well, not enough? Especially with these huge changes like AI creating so much uncertainty and, frankly, ethical ambiguity.
That's the crucial jump. See, psychological safety reduces fear, it supports learning, it gives people a voice. Brave spaces, though, they're cultures where courage isn't just supported, it's actively modeled by leaders. And speaking up, it becomes expected. It's a subtle shift, maybe, but it has huge implications.
That expected part.
Yeah.
That really resonates. Our source mentioned this great anecdote. And leaders are genuinely surprised people didn't speak up, even though they knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And the core question for those leaders becomes, okay, but did you actually make it safe? Did you invest in creating that space?
Exactly.
Because if you didn't, well, people naturally default to self-preservation, not speaking truth to power. But in a brave space, that expectation is just baked into the culture.
Precisely. There's a clear path here. You evolve from establishing safety to reaching a point of courage, where people are courageous enough to speak up when needed, every time. And honestly, this is how agile product and service management has always aimed to function. There's been a bit of a misinterpretation sometimes, thinking psychological safety just means making workplaces, comfortable, a happy place. And look, comfort is nice. It has benefits for well-being, absolutely, but it's not the ultimate goal of a true agile culture. That's always aimed beyond just comfort. The goal is flow, it's delivery. And that often requires confronting uncomfortable truths.
Right. So contrasting the purpose. Psychological safety lets you speak up if you choose to. But brave spaces actively embrace that healthy discomfort. Is that it? To enable challenge, change, real innovation.
That's it.
Which means challenging the boss sometimes.
Or the CEO.
Or senior experts.
Yeah.
Or even tackling those messy issues that cross departmental lines, the kind of waterfall project management structures often wall off.
Yes, exactly. Breaking down those silos becomes possible, even necessary. And this leads to a really important point. What happens if we only focus on safety? If we stop there? Well, the source highlights something kind of funny, but also worrying. It actually stalls progress, this idea of safe silence. It can lead straight to things like groupthink or missing critical warnings. Imagine prioritizing that happy joy vibe so much that you avoid necessary tough conversations, like when someone knows a plan will fail spectacularly, but stays quiet, just to keep things pleasant. Yeah. Teams avoid pushback. They fear conflict, even if basic safety exists, because they haven't been expected to engage with discomfort, ethical risks. They get buried under politeness. And this leads to what the source calls the innovation paradox. The safest places feel nice, sure, but they stagnate. They don't adapt. Brave spaces, on the other hand, often feel uncomfortable, but they adapt. They grow. That right there is true business agility.
That safe silence point is Yeah, it's a bit unsettling because I can hear listeners thinking, but wait, isn't comfort good? Don't we want happy teams?
Hmm.
How do you respond to that desire for just pure comfort? And how does this whole brave approach tackle the sheer speed of change, like with AI?
It's a really common question, and it gets right to the core misunderstanding. Comfort is definitely a benefit of a well-functioning team. Of course it is. But it's not the purpose. It's not the engine of a truly agile, innovative team, a team that's purely comfortable. If that comfort means avoiding hard truths, that's a recipe for stagnation. The brave approach tackles AI speed and uncertainty head-on because it demands boldness, immediacy. If we wait until everything feels perfectly comfortable and nice before having those crucial, maybe awkward conversations, AI will have already come and gone. We'll be left behind. And worse, without brave spaces, we could see unethical, dangerous AI implementations emerge because the hard questions weren't asked early enough. The stakes are just incredibly high.
Okay, this isn't just abstract theory, though. The source gives concrete ways to do this. So for leaders listening right now, how do they start? How do they model this bravery themselves?
Leadership modeling it's non-negotiable. It starts there. Leaders have to be the first ones admitting mistakes, showing everyone it's okay, we're human, things go wrong. The focus needs to shift to recovery from failure during execution, not this impossible ideal of perfect execution, which, let's be honest, was often part of the old waterfall project management conditioning. Leaders are perfect, right?
Right.
Wrong. Leaders need to take interpersonal risks themselves, ask uncomfortable questions, signal that it's okay to have those, well, icky conversations. Like a leader might actually say in a meeting, I made the call on X, and looking back, I think I missed Y. What did we learn? How do we catch that next time? That's leading by example. It's powerful.
Okay, so beyond the leader's personal example, what about structure? What structural things help build these brave spaces into how teams actually work day to day?
Yeah. Structural enablers are vital. First up, feedback loops. And not just, the annual review kind, a constant, abundant flow of information, including the difficult stuff. That means regular check-ins, sure, but also making sure informal channels feel open. So a small worry doesn't blow up because no one felt they could mention it earlier. Multiple avenues for input.
Makes sense.
Second, cross-functional dialogue, super important. Those departmental separations from traditional waterfall, they often build walls, silos. We need conversations involving everyone affected by an issue to get the full picture, to solve things quickly and properly. It's about active engagement across teams, not just, tossing things over the wall. And third, shared decision-making. This is really powerful. When decisions are made together, it pretty much eliminates the blame game, the finger-pointing. It fosters collective responsibility and support when, inevitably, things don't go perfectly. Everyone's got skin in the game. And something else that's incredibly important is normalizing discomfort. Because we've put so much emphasis, maybe too much, on safety as the end goal, we've kind of failed to normalize the idea that it's okay, even necessary, to feel uncomfortable sometimes. Retrospectives are a perfect example. Great place to actively embrace conflict. Not fighting, obviously, but really surfacing the issues that need talking about. The aim is to make candor feel like a natural part of the culture. And here's a really valuable practice you could try just to build that muscle. Consider rotating a devil's advocate role in meetings or retrospectives. Now, it might sound a bit forced at first, maybe counterintuitive.
Yeah, a little.
But the goal is for everyone to get comfortable engaging in discomfort. If we only wait for high-stakes moments when it's absolutely required, people won't have the practice. They'll freeze. So maybe in a retro, you say, okay, today you're the devil's advocate. Your job is to stir the pot a bit, challenge assumptions, offer a different view. It helps people practice respectful disagreement, get comfortable with counterpoints, and it ensures more team members build that skill for when it's genuinely needed without a formal role attached.
That sounds intense, definitely, but I can see how it builds those muscles.
Yeah.
But how do we make sure, while we're having these tough talks and challenging each other, that we still maintain respect, that support is still there?
Absolutely crucial point. You must balance support and challenge with respect. Psychological safety is the foundation. It's the floor, not the ceiling.
Yeah.
You need to design team norms, explicit agreements about how we disagree, how we give tough feedback respectfully. And for inclusivity, it's vital to also address neurodivergence.
Good point.
We need compassion, understanding, education on how to set things up so neurodivergent communication styles are included. We have to accept that sometimes, due to inexperience or different skills or neurodivergence, conversations will go wrong. They might feel icky. We need to anticipate that and make it safe for everyone to make mistakes while trying to be brave. One practical way to help with this, maybe as a transition, offer asynchronous written input. like using chat threads or shared docs before a key meeting. This gives people who might struggle with immediate verbal responses. Maybe they need more processing time, a way to contribute effectively, thoughtfully. It can be a really useful stepping stone towards everyone feeling comfortable in full, brave, verbal communication.
Okay, so let's say a team or organization is on this path. They're moving from safety towards bravery. How do we know if it's working? What are the signs we're actually getting braver?
Yeah, you can definitely see signs of growth. You'll notice more constructive dissent. And importantly, it leads to better outcomes, not just disagreement for its own sake. People offering alternatives, raising valid concerns that actually improve things. Teams will start surfacing impediments, those potential blockers, much, much earlier, preventing them from becoming huge, costly problems later. You'll also see team members reasserting concerns if nothing's happened. They won't just raise it once and let it die.
Persistence.
Exactly. Persistence driven by purpose. And finally, better risk identification. People actively look for and discuss risks earlier because they know it's not just safe, it's expected, it's valued.
Okay, and what about the flip side, the red flags? The behaviors we definitely don't want creeping in under the banner of bravery.
There are definitely warning signs. A big one is disrespect, disguised as candor. Someone basically being a jerk or a bully, but claiming they're just being honest or brave.
Yeah.
That's not bravery. It's just bad behavior. And leaders have to spot that difference and shut it down firmly, immediately. Another red flag is burnout masked as courage. If it's always the same, one or two people raising the difficult issues, playing devil's advocate, that's not sustainable. It's not healthy. We want rotation. We want everyone participating over time because everyone's perspective is valuable and the burden shouldn't just fall on a few brave souls.
That's a really important distinction. Now, what about feedback? Our source mentioned a nuanced take on something that's often controversial, anonymous feedback. How does that fit?
Right. It's tricky. Transparency is obviously key and agile. The goal isn't to rely on anonymous feedback long term. But it can be a really valuable transitional support tool. Think of it like training wheels, especially when psychological safety is still developing, maybe fragile. It ensures you capture potentially crucial, sensitive feedback that people aren't ready to give openly yet.
Okay, like a bridge.
Exactly. It's a bridge, not a destination. The goal is to evolve beyond needing it. And if you use it, there's a critical rule. Publish a public synthesis of themes. Never expose individuals. You discuss the issues, the data, the patterns, not the person. Talk to individuals privately if necessary, but never about them publicly based on anonymous input. Leaders really need good communication skills to navigate that properly. And maybe the absolute most critical piece for any feedback system, anonymous or not, visible follow-through.
Oh, yes.
Tough feedback, brave conversations, they must lead to tangible, positive action. If they don't, if nothing changes, it kills things like retrospectives. It destroys trust faster than almost anything. You have to make it blindingly obvious that being brave, raising hard topics, it actually works. It leads to improvements. It moves the needle. A simple metric, maybe? Track the ratio of dissenting comments or concerns raised per iteration. Make sure that number trends up and demonstrably leads to positive results, not just more noise.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now and for your team? This deep dive, I think, shows a really clear progression. Psychological safety. That's the essential floor. It builds trust. From that trust, you can start to foster challenge, and that challenge, that ultimately leads to growth, adaptation, true business agility. It's not always about being comfortable. It's about being courageous for a purpose.
So maybe leave you with this thought. What's one concrete step you could take this week? Maybe it's helping establish basic safety if that's missing. Or if safety's there, maybe it's intentionally pushing just a little into a braver space. Even one small act, modeling some candor, inviting a different perspective, it can have ripples.
And if you want to dive even deeper into the actual skills needed for these brave spaces, the art of having those difficult, crucial conversations effectively, you can find links to the source video we discussed, plus more info, maybe some resources on crucial conversations right there in our episode description. We really do encourage you to check it out. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep growing.